bottom line, the workforce is changing. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I just feel like this is the most like polarized this country has been, you know what I mean, on everything. So at the end of the day, the workforce is changing. And not as many traditionalists, but we have so many generations in the workforce right now. Like, oh, no one's gonna notice a couple of years. But I'm sure like when I'm 65, and I'm like, man, if this was like the early 2000s, I'd have been retired already. So we have multiple generations in our workforce. And with that comes diversity. You know, so now we're having our Gen Z, who everything is technology, and like DMing somebody can be something professional. I've been asked actually to do speaking engagements off of a direct message on social media. And perhaps traditionalists or boomers or even Gen Xers might not be comfortable with that. So I think that by creating like a positive employee experience is really just about building that inclusivity. The work-life balance is something else that's a product of kind of more modern times. And before, like, you worked your 9 to 5, it was just what you had to do. You didn't make friends at work. You didn't spend any extra time at work. You did exactly what you needed to do, and you left until the next time you had to go back. That's not the case anymore. So it's important for employers to make sure that they're creating these positive experiences for the long-term longevity, productivity, retention, and all those key factors that make a business successful.
I think one thing that can really bind the organization at the organizational level, and it kind of cascades to all levels, is if right at the gate when you're doing interviews, to basically outline very clearly at the interview what you as a leader, you know, or your organization's values are, and be real clear about it, because they could be different, and like the values and the expectations, I think it sets the tone quickly, and you might find that right away people could leave the interview at the end of it and they know they're not even going to get back to you because they might not agree with the values. But with all with the change that's occurred over the past 4 years, I think sticking to those things, and for our organization, we've been clear for 20 years what they are. So no matter what kind of storms there are that we go through, with high rates of turnover, a worldwide pandemic, you know, war, whatever is going on, the decisions aren't that difficult to make for the organization, because we circle back usually to these three values that I know I hold really dearly, and a lot of our folks do, and they're not just like slogans on a wall, but they are on the wall, and they're even on in my house. So I remind myself when things are hard. And the first one is can be controversial a little bit. It's the employees' families first, and you know, in concert, the families that you're serving reciprocally, they're going to be directly impacted by the happiness of the employee when things are okay at home. So we're constantly trying to figure out what is it that someone may need that can get them over a pivotal problem right now. And if they're saying that they need extra time off for family matters, that's a really important one. If there's something going wrong at home, raise your hand if it's hard for you to focus at work. I'm just curious, because that's one of my challenges. You know something needs to be attended to. So how can an employee be happy at work when they're worrying about their family, which is their building block, their foundation? So that value is important, and to circle back to it, which also you have to be careful, because every once in a while, you know, someone might play that card, but you find out, you know, they've had a long run with that same reason, but it's rare that people would make up something like that when they're talking about their family. So then the second thing, like at our interviews, we talk about is just, you know, we sometimes just ask people, like, what's your long-term goal? You know, what do you think you may want to do 15 years from now? And I always take notes on that, and then if I can see the employee again, I'd like to go back and I'll check my Google document just to see if there's any match between what they want to do in the long run, and is there a way that they could do it within the organization. So that passion, that calling. I know for myself, and maybe I don't know how you feel in the room, but the times that I didn't feel the purpose, the times that I didn't feel that I was making a difference, the times I didn't feel I was making an impact or finding my highest expression of what I do, those times were when I was the most down and least satisfied at work. So chasing that, I think, is so important for longevity. That second value. And then the third one being like, once someone's found their passion and just their day-to-day job, just putting as many resources as you can behind them. It may not always be financial. It might be, okay, this area is growing well and they really enjoy the social skills. So, okay, we're gonna need to get a company van so that nothing slows them up. Giving our people not just the resources and the funds to do something, but also their ability to make decisions without being micromanaged. So, like listing out the values and giving examples sometimes at the interview, I think can go a long way, because there's times that again, your decisions could be based on those rock solid foundation. It's the only way to get through things.